What's up guys, it's Mega giving you another deck for Link Evolution. Today guys, we're doing another deck on our list, and that is Cryston. This deck's of course my own opinion at the end of the day, and it's completely cool if you guys disagree with any of the cards shown in the video. I'll be honest, with the addition with some new cards such as Fibrax and Snifner, I think it's called, this deck has gotten a big boost that it really needed. We all have got a few more new Link cards as well, such as the Scrap engine, such as Recycler and Wyvern, which also gives the deck a little bit more added oomph. We have this deck is like more built going first, especially with all like the interruptions this deck can do. By all means, it can go second for some power plays. It is up to you which one you prefer to do. If you're struggling to make this deck or any deck shown so far, check out the card hub, guys. Not only will tell you what cards in this game or not, we'll tell you where to find it as well, such as campaign, challenge mode, or card pack that does include the new cards that added via the update. That is in the description down below, along with my Twitch, where I do try and stream on days that I can. I mean, I haven't got a few coming up because I'm really busy. Where we play this game, getting a lot of updates that we needed for the channel. And with that, guys, let's get into the video. Starting us off, guys, is one copy of Genix Controller. It is a Garnet. By all means, you do not want to see this card in your hand. If you get this card in your hand, rip your Undine or Undine, whatever it's called. You just basically rip. The only reason you run this is because because you need it in order to play Undine's effect. It is a tuner, and because it is a level 3 or lower, you can special summon it with Fibrax. So by all means, go for it. We've got running a couple of copies of Ash Blossom. She's limited to, or as I'd add a third copy. Should your opponent do anything from the hand, such as add a card, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck, Ash Blossom shuts it down. For setting anything from the deck, she's just absolutely great, great for shutting it down with. Going on to some Cryston cards, guys. We've got 3 copies of Crittery. Is it Crittery? We'll go with that. She is a tuner along with Ryan. It's the only tuners we're running other than the controller. All of the tuners share kind of the same effect, and the Cryston and the non-tuners kind of share the same effects as well. So the tuners, guys, such as this little bad boy or bad girl, she lets you she'll summon a synchro monster from your during your opponent's turn. It's a quick effect as well. To special summon a synchro from your, using monsters that are from your graveyard, or you resurrect a monster from your graveyard using that and this card, immediately synchro summon. But if you're using her effect during your opponent's turn, you can only synchro summon a machine type synchro monsters. If you don't, that restriction that doesn't apply. You can summon whatever you want. But if you're doing it during your opponent's turn, it's only machines. So please bear that in mind. But the monsters and when you synchro summon, the monsters are banished instead of going to the graveyard. But realistically, you kind of want some cards to be banished, so it does not make a difference either way. So on to a Cryston Paris Tolo. So basically the Turtus. All of the non-tuners have the same effect, or field effect, where you can target it or a face-up card you control, and then you destroy that card you target and special summon a Cryston tuner from your deck. If doing that, it does lock you into only summoning machine type synchros for the rest of the turn, so you can't link summon into Fibrax. But but it's just great because you can just summon out a tuner and just end your turn. Because then come your opponent's turn, you can just synchro during your opponent's turn and then go off from there. All of them have different effects that activate in the graveyard, so they all have graveyard effects. So this bad boy, you can banish it from you can banish it from your graveyard and special summon a Cryston monster from your hand. Great for a quick summon if you're trying to get your tuner on board to go into Fibrax, or to just go and extend your or to just go for a play if you want to go for damage, stuff like that. Really great. The other tuner is Ryan. These are the only 2 we're running because these 2 are the only best ones that work well with each other. So while Crypty works in the graveyard, this bad boy works with banished cards. So you target one of your monsters that are banished, resummon it using Ryan and the monster that is banished. You get to synchro summon a machine type synchro monster, and the monsters that are synchro summoned go back into the deck instead of going to the graveyard. So just recycles your cards as well. Really great. And yeah, so that's the particular reason you're doing it. One's Crypty's level 2. This is level 3. So that's how you can get your different levels out. Then one copy of Rosenix. Again, the onboard field effect, you can just target one card, destroy it, special summon a tuner, locks you, and all that lot. if this card, you can banish this card from the graveyard and special summon a Crystalon token, which is a level 1. But say for instance you have this, you can just banish it, get that token, summon out a tuner, like your controller if it is in your hand. I mean, you don't particularly want to see it, and then you can go into MR5 that way if you particularly want to, because banish it from the graveyard doesn't restrict you into only synchro summoning. You can link summon if you use their graveyard effects. Then 3 copies of Simga, which is basically the tiger. This card, if you remove it from your graveyard, you get to add a Crystalon spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So basically this one card just searches out the impact. Impact, basically, we'll come to that later, is great for this deck because it gets all of your banished cards back. That's the only reason you run it, just to get that, and basically you just recycle this card so it's never dead. And then the main card, the card that works so well, that makes this deck beautiful, is Sufnir. Sufnir is absolute great. So it's kind of different compared to all the others. So all the others that have the on-field effect, this is different. This is a hand or graveyard effect. So if this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can discard another Crystalon card except itself, and special summon this card in defense mode. Then you can destroy 1 card. Realistically, you want to destroy itself, because if this card is destroyed by card effect or by battle, you can special summon a Crystalon monster directly from your deck. So that is absolute beast. Being able to just... Basically, you can just discard whatever card, and then because in the graveyard, it will have its graveyard effect. Then you can special summon whatever you need. So say, for instance, you discarded the turtle, and you want to... And say, for instance, you've got a tuner in hand. You've got Crypty in hand. You can just special summon one of your non-ones. So the next one we're going to go up to, or the Simmer. And then you can banish your turtle from play. Special summon Crypty from your hand. You still haven't used your normal summon. Then you can go into MR5, get him on board, and another tuner. Then you can just remove your thing from play and your tiger from play and get your trap. That's all that was without even using your normal summon. This card is key. This is why we love this card. You really want to get to this card as quickly as you can. And that's why I've got 2 engines to try and get to this card. You can add Mathematician to get to this card, because when Mathematician is summoned, you can discard this card like from your deck. It's kind of like a Foolish Burial. So if you do want to take out some cards, or like drop maybe a Starlight Junction, or you want to drop, I don't know, the Golem, you're more than welcome to add in the Mathematicians. And then 3 copies of Tristavin. Oh, that's a mouthful. So this bad boy is absolutely great in its graveyard effect. So its graveyard effect is you get to add a Crystalon monster from your deck to your hand. So that is literally a rotor for the entire archetype. Absolute great. This bad boy is level 3, so it comes in handy with that. You can move it from play to get a monster. So this one card can search out Snifnir as well. So pretty much we have got 9 cards that can get Snifnir either in your hand or in graveyard. Again, if you did add Mathematician, that would increase its like depending on how many copies, you could add like 11. So that's really great. And then you can just go explosive, doing all your cards from there. Some non-Crystalon cards, guys. There are only 3 copies of Genix Undine or Undine, whatever you pronounce this card. When this card is normal summoned, you get to send 1 water monster from your deck to your graveyard. Then you get to add a Genix controller from your deck to your hand. But this card has to be in the deck, the controller has to be in the deck to use this effect. If it's in your hand, it will not activate. That's why the controller is a Garnet. By all means, you never want to see it. So why is this card great? It's because all the Crystalons are water monsters. So you can just, with this and 1 normal summon, you can send Snifnir to the graveyard, and then you can just leave this card from play and do all your little plays, leaving this card. And then during your opponent's turn, you can just synchro summon all your monsters and go into like a level 9 monster and go mad with your opponent. And if this doesn't work out, we also have the Scrap Engine, which is Scrap Golem, which is once per turn you can target 1 level 4 or lower monster or lower scrap monster and special summon it to our player's field. The one you're going to be special summon is a Scrap Recycler. So a Scrap Recycler is normal or special summon. You can send a machine type monster from your deck to your grave. So not only are they water, they are all machines. So Undine and Recycler all work for this. If anything, I am actually very tempted, I really am, to just get rid of the Golem, because then I'm able to get Mathematician. Maybe if anything, I'll maybe take out the Golem and like maybe one of the Turtus and adding 2 mathematicians. I really am thinking of that because it just makes it better, because Golem is great, but you don't particularly want it in your opening hand, you want something better, so it can be situational. And you're not really going to play its second effect all too well. It's just basically there just to send Snifter to the graveyard. Going on some spell cards, running 3 copies of Call by the Grave. By all means, you don't have to run it. I'm just running it because in this game there are a lot of hand traps. People love to abuse hand traps, or they love to summon cards from the graveyard. And when they special them from the grave, you can Call by the Grave to remove it from play. That way it gets over the target, so they can't do it. And again, the last thing you want is to get Ash Blossomed or Effect Veiled or anything like that. So it just shuts them down, and it's just absolutely great. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. It's basically the monster form of Undine and Recycle, or the spell card of Undine and Scrap Recycler. So you can just literally send any of your Crystallons to the graveyard, mainly Snifnir for its effect. But if you don't have it in your hand and you really want to, like, say for instance, if you just set, you can just banish the Trisvern, still can't pronounce that card's name. Then you can just remove it from play and add a Crystalline monster from your deck to your hand. You can do it that way if you want. Really great. Then 2 copies of Moray of Greed. Majority of our cards are light or water attribute, apart from the hand traps and the golem or the scrap cards. So even the Undines are water. So by all means, you could just shuffle 2 water monsters back into the deck. Draw 3 cards. If, for instance, if you get your tuners, you can just shuffle them back into the deck and draw 3 cards, because at the end of the day, all of your Crystalline monsters can special summon the tuners from the deck, so they don't particularly care if they're in your hand or hand or deck, really. So that's why it's great just to draw them cards. And then 3 copies of Starlight Junction. If anything, guys, you could just take out 1 copy of this and the Golem if you really want, and then add in the 2 Mathematician. If anything, I am really 100% most probably going to add in the Junk. Add in the Mathematician, because I just found I just need, like, majority of the time you just needed that one, like, extended, like, combo starter in your will. So you don't, like, it's really interesting trying to find that perfect balance. So it's like you can either, you really want, like, say for instance we have like 6, if anything, maybe more, like 6, like 9 combo starters. At the end of the day, you just want that little bit more, because you can't guarantee to get a combo star. But then when you get one, you kind of start with the other one in your hand. It's really weird. But anyway, back to Starlight Junction. This bad boy is amazing. Realistically, you're not going to play its on-field effect, or its you could tribute 1 monster special summon a synchron from your deck. You're never going to play that effect. The main reason you're going to run this is because during your opponent's turn, if you special summon a synchro monster from your deck, the Crystalline monsters can special synchro monsters during your opponent's deck. So that's their effects, and Halby Firebrights can as well. You can target 1 card your opponent controls and bounce it back into the deck. It's basically a spell version of Nightmare Unicorn, and Unicorn is a great card nevertheless. And you can just do it just from synchro summoning a monster to ensure your opponent's plays. Absolute beast. And then the Terraforming searches out the Junction. And then finally for the traps, guys, 3 copies of Crystalline Impact. Again, it is searchable with our Smigmore, so that's great. And because it has Crystalline in its name, Snifier's effect does activate to banish, to discard it if you really want. Or its effect is, guys, you can target 1 of your banished Crystalline monsters, special summon it. And if you do, all your opponent's face-up monsters have their defense changed to 0. You don't particularly care about changing the defense to 0. It's mainly all about special summoning that key monster back to the field. Because again, when you do your synchro plays, like with Critchy, it banishes it. If you do the Halby Firebrax play special on a monster, it gets banished. So with Impact, you can resurrect the Halby Firebrax, then you can just play Halby Firebrax's effect again during your opponent's next turn, and just summon out another Synchro Tuner from your deck. Really great. Really great card. And also it has has a graveyard effect as well, where except during the turn it was sent to the graveyard, when an effect or card is activated that targets a Crystalline card, you can negate it. So it's really great. So it gives you a little bit of protection. The extra deck, guys, we are running 1 copy of Excel Synchron. It is a Synchro Tuner, so Halby Firebrax can bring it out to level 5. So it's great to go into some better plays. You might be thinking, oh, why you're not running the Cyber Dragon cards? It's because there's not really space in the extra deck for them, like for Infinity. Like you can if you take out some of the Synchros, but I just found not to. So yeah, this card can increase You can't increase or decrease its level because we're not running any synchron monsters. But we can synchro summon during your opponent's turn with its quick effect, and you can just go off on there going into your other monsters. And again, because it's a synchro tuner, you can play you can use it with Star Legion's effect. One copy of Black Rose Moonlight. When this card is special summoned or a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you target one special summoned monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Absolute great. And again, you can synchro summon it during your opponent's turn to bounce a card back, and then if you have Star Legion, you can bounce another card back to your opponent's hand. Really great. Great. And it's also easy to go into with this deck. It really is. And then one Coral Dragon, again, Synchro Tuner, that's a level 6. And it has a on-board field effectors. You can discard a card and then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is really great. And if that one card you discarded was a Cryston monster, obviously it's in the grave, so its graveyard effect is now live. And if this synchro summoned card is sent from the field to the grave, so when you've summoned it with Fabrics, you just or you just bring it out normally, you can draw one card, which is really great. Because it's level 6, you can use it with like your token, like from your Rostrix, or with like your Turtus or whatever, and then you're just free to go into a synchro, a level 8 synchro. And then one of the big boss monsters is Crystalon Phoenix. So this card needs a synchro tuner and a non-synchro tuner. So it is really like if you literally have Halby Firebrights and Cryptry, those are the only 2 cards you have on the field, you can easily go into Phoenix. So with Cryptry, you can get your non-tuner ones, maybe the level 5 one. Like you need, for instance, you can go for level 5, and then Halby Firebrights can bring out the next monster, which is level 4. Or if you have Cryptry and your other monster, you can go into a level 4 synchro if you had the level 4, like for instance, Herald of the Arclight, and then you could bring out Excel Synchron and do it that way. You willed your oyster. But I tend to synchro summon into like a level 5 one, and then using Crystalon Needle Fiber to go into this card. And it is Crystalon Quadnix. So you really summon it normally with like two level 2 monsters. Like you only bring out with Cryptry and the Turtus. But with Crystalon Needle Fiber, it's great. So during your opponent's main phase or battle phase, you can special summon a synchro monster basically. The only good thing is this card hasn't got a restriction. While Cryptry and Ryan restrict you to only machine monsters, this doesn't restrict you to anything. So because it's level 4, it's really great to use any other monsters. Going to level 7s or level 8s really easy. And again, if you have level 5 like Snifney on board or Chambara, you can then go into Phoenix. And it does have effect where if this synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or by a card effect, you can target a Crystalon monster in your grave and except a synchro monster and special summon it. It was really great. And then the other boss monster, if I can pronounce this card, I'll literally give you I'll literally give all of you 3 million. Is it called Crystalon Qualian Gandrix? That is them. I don't think I'm pronouncing this card correctly. So if this card is synchro summoned. Sorry, I didn't go through Phoenix's effect. Sorry. So with Phoenix's special synchro summoned, you can banish all spell and traps your opponent controls and in their graveyard, which is really great. And if this synchro summon card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you get to target another monster in your grave and special summon it. So it has a floating effect and it banishes all spell and traps your opponent has, which is really great. Then this guy is the opposite. He's the monster one. So you can target monsters your opponent controls and in the graveyard up to the number of synchro monsters used for this card, and then you can banish them. So this deals with the monsters, Phoenix deals with the spells. And if this synchro summon card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you could target one of your banished monsters and special summon it to the field, and you'll be banishing all the time, so that's great. Going on to the non like Crystalon cards, we're going into Drago Berserker of the Tenji, one of the best generic level 8s you can go into, because should your opponent activate a monster effect, it has a quick effect where you can banish the card. It doesn't negate, it just banishes it, so it gets around that monster from activating. And if this attacking monster destroys an effect monster, it gains that monster's attack points permanently. Also, it can make a second attack on monsters during that turn, which is really great. And then F.A. Dawn Dragster, because it's a synchro machine monster, Cryptry with Snifnir can go into this bad boy, and basically it gains it will gain 300 attack for each level. So on summon, it has 2100 attack points, which is great. And when your opponent activates a spell or trap effect, you can reduce this card's level by 2, negate the activation, destroy. So this card protects you from effects, which is just really great. And then High Speed Roy Chambara, it's again a synchro machine, so Cryptree and Ryan can go into it. This bad boy helps when you go pushing for game, because this bad boy can attack twice during each battle phase, and each time it engages in a battle, it gains 200 attack. That includes even if your opponent attacks into this card, it does gain 200 attack. And you can't play it to graveyard effects, so you don't have any other speedroids. Yeah, this is really great because you can just keep pushing for damage. And then we've got Parad Isotron. Again, Synchro Machine, level 6 you need for this one. If this card is Synchro Summoned this turn, it cannot be destroyed in battle, cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, you take no damage. So this card, no matter what, will stay on the field. It's absolute great. And then next turn, you can just use it to go into higher Synchro plays, basically. And then one copy of Cyframe Lord Omega is limited to 1, by the way. During our player's turn in quick effect, you can banish both this face-up card and one card from your opponent's hand, which is kind of great because stealing that one card is key because you're making your opponent lose resources. You could target one face-up, you could target one face-up. And during the standby phase, it basically resurrects. And if this card is in the graveyard, you can target one other card in your graveyard and shuffle both of them back into the deck. So you can shuffle Omega plus whatever card you need, shuffle it back into the deck, and just go off from there. And then one copy, so you could even bring back Harry Firebreaks if it's in the graveyard. And then one copy of Shooting Riser Dragon. Again, it is a Synchro Tuner, and if it's Sync Summoned, you can send one monster from your deck to the grave. So again, you could send the Sniff here, whose level is lower than this card on the field, and if you do, reduce this card's level by that monster. So you can make this card like level 2 if you want, like by all means, like, but just getting that card is really key. And also, you can Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. So if you do have the token, the Cryston token, you can go into level 8, or again, you can just could just reduce its level, then go into a better synchro. It's up to you. And then going into Halby Firebrax, it's limited to 2. It is limited to 1, guys. Otherwise, you really would like 2. You need 2 monsters, a non-tuner and a tuner, or as long as one of them's a tuner, you're fine. If this card is Link Summon, you get Special Summon at level 3, although a tuner from your deck, basically. And the icing on the cake during your opponent's turn, you can remove it from play, you can banish it, Special Summon a Synchro Tuner from your deck, or from your extra deck, which is really great because you can just go into any of your other ones. Cryptree brings out the other one, boom, instant synchro play of like Phoenix, Quad or whatever it's called, or Dragster, you name it, go for it. And then Scrap Riven, because you need 2 monsters including a Scrap, and basically it's there to just resurrect Scrap Recycler. And yeah, I'm thinking of taking out Scrap Golem just for the Mathematician. By all means, you can still play this card, or you could just take this out to bring out like a rank 3 or like a link 3, like Unicorn or something if you want. So yeah. And that's it for the deck, guys. I've rambled on a little bit because I've been trying to like show you sort of from like combo plays and everything. But yeah, by all means, I am thinking of taking out maybe a Golem and a Junction, because then that way, like I say, you can have basically between it, you'll have like 8 cards that can go into, or 8. You can actually have 9 cards because you include Foolish Burial that can send Snuffier to the grave and then just explode your plays from there. And yeah, guys, I do hope this deck's been useful. It really is fun to play. I really do like Crystons. The one of those decks where you're actually surprised how fun they are. Like you may think Crystons may be a bit, yeah, but they're really fun to play actually. And I think the next deck is the waifu deck that everyone loves, the Dragon Maids. I've never played Dragon Maids. I only know that not all the cards that they have are in the game, so please be wary on me with making that deck. But yeah, I'll try my best to make it. And with that, guys, if you enjoy this deck, hit that thumbs up. It makes me see if you enjoy this deck, and it helps the channel grow. And I'll see you on the next video, guys. So wherever you are in the world, take care, goodbye, and stay safe. See ya.